So you're looking for a yoga class. You see all these different styles of yoga, different Sanskrit names, names of yogis. What does it all mean, and who are these people? Hi everyone, my name is Jimmy Barkan. Welcome back to my channel. So I've been teaching hot yoga for 41 years, and we're going to talk about these different styles of yoga. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, you get notified when I post a new video, and hit that like button. It really helps the channel a ton. So we're going to talk about all the different styles, at least some of the most popular styles of yoga that you may see in your community. I'm going to help you decipher to see what style of yoga is right for you. So let's start with Bikram yoga. This is my roots. I started as a Bikram yoga teacher. What defines Bikram yoga? First of all, it's done in a heated room. Many yoga schools will have the temperature set at 105 degrees. If you're in Europe or Australia, that's 40.55 degrees centigrade. So it's pretty darn hot. And the humidity levels is high as well. So it's a hot class. But what defines Bikram yoga is an exact sequence. You're going to do this exact sequence every single day. 26 postures and 2 breathing exercises in a 90-minute class. Now, many people have deviated a little bit from Bikram's guidelines, but those are what he set in place. Some people are doing 60-minute Bikram classes and 45-minute Bikram classes, but a true Bikram class is 90 minutes, 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises, and the class can be challenging because of the heat, but it's geared toward everyone. In fact, Bikram calls it his beginning yoga class, so you can start in that class as a raw beginner. That brings us to style number 2, hot yoga. Now, I teach hot yoga, but I also teach my own particular style of the Barkan method of hot yoga. So I consider hot yoga to be from a lineage from Calcutta, Bikram's teacher, Vishnu-Ghosh, meaning it's not just for heating the room, because you could heat the room and do other styles of yoga. When I talk about hot yoga, I'm talking about yoga from this particular lineage. So the Barkan method is rooted in Bikram and Vishnu-Ghosh, but I bring other styles of yoga into my practice. I did a recent video called The Difference Between Bikram and Barkan, and you can watch this after this video. I include other postures, not just the 26 and 2 breathing exercises. If you're interested in doing a Barkan method class, look down below at the description. I have an on-demand membership. I have over 400 classes you can do with me every single day. So I wanted to talk about those 2 particular styles of yoga because that's what I'm an expert at. Now let's talk about some other styles of yoga. Next is Iyengar yoga, created by the man himself, BKS Iyengar. So before I tell you about Iyengar yoga, let's talk about his teacher. His teacher is named Krishnamacharya. Krishnamacharya, arguably the most popular hatha yoga teacher in modern day times. And he had 3 very, very famous students, BKS Iyengar, Pattabhi Jois, who we're going to talk about in a minute, and his son Desikachar. We're going to talk about him as well. So back to Iyengar. If you're going to do an Iyengar class, many times in that class, they're going to be giving extreme attention on alignment. They also use blocks and they use straps, and they'll hold the position for longer periods of time. It's a different style of yoga, and it came more from the southern part of the country, or Mysore, where Vishnu-Ghosh and Bikram came from the northeast part of the country, Bengal. Now let's talk about Pattabhi Jois, another student of Krishnamacharya. So they're coming from this particular style or umbrella. Pattabhi Jois created what he calls Ashtanga yoga. In Sanskrit, it means 8 limbs. It's definitely a video I want to do in the future because in my humble opinion, I believe you screwed up everybody's idea of what Ashtanga yoga means, because Ashtanga, 8 limbs, was Patanjali's 8-limb path. Pattabhi Jois created a sequence of postures, 6 sequences of postures from beginning to advanced. But very similar to Bikram, you're going to be doing the same postures in an exact sequence every single time, but it's more of a flow class. Also different than Iyengar, even though the postures will be very similar because it's from the same lineage, but in an Ashtanga class, it's a continuous flow or Vinyasa style. They also heat the room not near to the degree that Bikram does and that I do. They do recommend at least a warm environment. And that brings us to the next style, Vinyasa. What is Vinyasa? So Vinyasa really came from the Krishnamacharyan lineage, especially the Ashtanga lineage, because what the teachers saw, they liked that continuous flow, but they don't want to be bound to the sequence. So coming from Ashtanga yoga, the Vinyasa people said, okay, we're going to be more improvisational. We're going to change the sequence up. And you got to be careful what class you're going to go to, because you want to make sure you take a class from an experienced teacher. You don't want to go to a young teacher that's just making something up, because the sequence should have continuity to it and flow to it. But the Vinyasa class is definitely coming from the Krishnamacharyan side, and it's continuous flow. That being said, I created my own version of Vinyasa where I combined the transitions of upward dog and downward dog to postures from our lineage. I borrowed the concept of the continuous flow from the Krishnamacharyan lineage with postures from the Bikram world and combined the two together. And then there's Deskachar, who is Krishnamacharya's son, and he created a style called Vinaya Yoga. And he wrote this wonderful book. And in the book, he talks about his father. And he says his father's main concept in creating his yogic style was a Vinyasa continuous flow. So Vinaya Yoga, definitely coming from the Krishnamacharyan world, I mean, he was a son, for goodness sakes, is a continuous flow yoga with a different philosophy. However, the Iyengar-Ashtanga and Vinaya Yoga, all under the same umbrella, you're going to see the same postures with similar names of poses, all from this particular style. And next up is Yin Yoga. In Yin Yoga, actually two of the founders of Yin Yoga, one was Sarah Powers and one was Paul Grilly. Paul Grilly and I were in Bikram's teacher training program together back in 1981. In Yin Yoga, the concept, and the reason why they chose the word yin, which is a Chinese word, which is the feminine energy. In Sanskrit, the parallel would be Shakti. So they chose the word yin because it comes from the Taoist tradition. They combine yoga with the Tao. In a yin class, you're going to be holding the postures for long periods of time. You're going to sit in the position. The concept of yin yoga is you sit there for long periods of time so that the body, the connective tissue, begins to fatigue. And as it fatigues, it begins to give way. And you can create a lot more opening, a lot more range of motion in a yin class. Now, I don't want you to confuse yin yoga with restorative yoga. Restorative yoga is also slow. But restorative yoga is really doing postures that are very gentle, very easy, like half tortoise, like child pose, like happy baby. And I created a restorative flow, and especially if you're doing an athletic style of yoga, every now and then it's really nice to take a restorative class, but don't confuse restorative with yin. Yin can be very, very difficult. You'll be holding a posture for 10 minutes, and your body's like going to feel like it's on fire. Completely different than restorative, which is a lot more relaxing. And that brings us to the last style of yoga that in the West they know as Hatha, or actually the proper Sanskrit pronunciation is Hatha, which is symbolized by the sun, Ha, and the moon, Ta. But the word Hatha I consider to be the most misinterpreted word in all of modern day yoga. Because if you were to take a Hatha yoga class somewhere in your neighborhood, many times it's a very relaxing class where you'll hold the position for long periods of time, not necessarily as relaxing as restorative, but a gentle exercise, and they do hold the postures and they do focus on alignment, but at the same time it's a gentler approach for beginners. And this is why I believe it's the most misinterpreted word, because the word Hatha literally means forceful. The intention of the Hatha yogis 1,000 years ago was to forcefully, this is the metaphor that we use in our Barkan method training, it's like a hammer hits the blacksmith's anvil, to forcefully awaken the dormant Kundalini Shakti up the center channel, or the Sushumna. And we do that mostly through pranayama and asana. So the real styles of Hatha yoga are not the relaxed, gentle form of yoga. The real styles of Hatha yoga is a bigger umbrella, even bigger than Krishnamacharya or Bikram-Ghosh. It really encompasses all of it. So all the styles have the intention to athletically awaken the Kundalini Shakti through pranayama and asana, like Vinyasa and Iyengar and Ashtanga and Bikram and Barkan. These are the true styles of Hatha yoga. It's a much bigger umbrella than just one particular style of a gentle yoga practice. Definitely a misinterpreted word. So if you're a raw beginner, you have to really decide what kind of yoga you want to do. If you don't like the heat, then stay away from the Bikram-Ghosh-Barkan or hot yoga classes, that's for sure. If you're a beginner, definitely don't want to go to an Ashtanga class that has the advanced sequence. You want to ask the teacher, let them know that you're a beginner, but most styles of yoga are geared toward beginning students. Any studio owner will tell you what's going to fuel their business is new students. So even a Vinyasa class can still be geared to a new student. Let the teacher know you're new. I did a video recently on how yoga teachers help new students as well. So shop around. My teacher would say, don't shop too long because then you become a jack of all trades, but look around and see what class works best for you, what's going to resonate for your body. Listen to your body and stick with that one particular style of yoga. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do other styles of yoga, but if you're doing a Iyengar one day and Ashtanga one day and Barkan one day, then you're becoming a jack of all trades. Stick with one particular yoga. As a beginner, I'd say stick with one style of yoga at first. Get the foundation and before you start to branch out and explore other styles of yoga. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You get notified when I post a new video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye, guys.